If I didn't know any better, I would think that Anthony Smith's lady watched my video and said, that's my script. What has just played out here is exactly what I said I believe to had happened. When the whole Anthony Smith drama happened, every single YouTuber and MMA talking head wanted to cover it. And they wanted to talk about the big bad monster, Anthony Smith. And look what Anthony Smith did. The Anthony Smith situation just got worse. The Anthony Smith situation just got worser. The Anthony Smith situation just got even worsest. Can you believe it? How much of a monster he is. I had a different take. I don't know if you saw the video that I made about it. I had a much different take. And it appears as though I was correct. Extremely correct. Suspiciously correct. Like, are we in the Matrix type of correct? Are we living in a stimulation type of correct? We'll get to that. Here's the interesting thing. I want to hold the chanclas to the fire of these YouTubers. When this news broke, everyone wanted to break it. Everyone took their little part in breaking it. With their cute little thumbnails and titles, and everyone was having a go at it. And it was probably like, oh, this is our second chance. The whole Poirier situation happened, and we made memes about it, and we had a good time with it. People are making merch about it. We get to see this dude's downfall. People like to celebrate it. People like to celebrate the downfall of other dudes that were doing better than them. And then they're like, wait a minute, what the? This dude's still on deep waters? This dude, what the? He still has his job? He's still doing his, okay. And then Anthony Smith comes about and is like, oh, we got another chance, boys. Let's kick this dude while he's down. Let's knock out his teeth while he's down. Let's break into his house while he and his family are asleep. And it was another opportunity for the community to do two things. To make memes, to laugh about it, to do all this stuff while the dude's down and out, but also what the people love the most, to virtue signal. Perfect opportunity to virtue signal. Look at what he did. I knew he was this kind of guy. I can't believe he did this. Shame on him. And look, if Anthony Smith is a bad dude, and he is doing bad things, and he is a danger to people, of course, keep him away. Fine. But here's what I think needs to be addressed. When the news came out, everybody wanted to give their take and go on and on about the situation and how he's a danger and a monster. And this is that age-old story. Another Chris Benoit. Lock him up. He already served his purpose. He already entertained us. We have no more use for him. You guys are out here acting like Lotso, just trying to throw him down into the fire. It's a deep cut. If you know, you know. So, I think it's fascinating that when we get a new bit of information, when we get an update, I don't see anybody making videos about it. I don't hear anybody talking about it. Maybe it's not sexy enough. Maybe if it's not negativity and if it's not drama, maybe it's not click-worthy. I don't know. And I'm not afraid to talk about it because I don't get impressions anyway. I don't get impressions, YouTube, so I'm not worried about it. I'll do the best with what I got. You know what I do have, YouTube? I have a fantastic CTR and an average watch duration, okay? So I'm doing my job. You're not doing yours, YouTube. I can't give myself impressions, but everything else I have control over, doing pretty good. Anyway, all these people were trying to, I don't know, hold Anthony Smith accountable, maybe at least in their beanies. In actuality, no. It was 100% clicks and virtue signaling, trying to be on the right side of history. And I'll try to keep it concise, because if you want to see the whole thing, how I really laid it out and went on about it, it's in the video that I made about Anthony Smith. But here's what I said. I'll give you the short version. I said I kind of brought people up to speed on like domestic violence laws. And long story short, because of a lot of situations that happened in the past, there was laws enacted and case law that is to be acknowledged in situations like this, where when there's a domestic violence call, in the old days, the officers would kind of decide on the spot, okay, I think things have smoothed over. I think it's cooled down. I think it's all right. I think we could go home. They're fine. They worked it out. And then somebody ends up dead. Someone ends up almost beat to death. Somebody kills the kids. That happened time and time again until finally they made a law and they're like, we can't do this anymore. Because they got sued, of course. It's all about money. A police department got sued and they're like, all right, we're civilly liable. Whenever there's a domestic violence call, we have to either like identify an aggressor, or I don't know, we play Rochambeau, there's kind of a coin toss or whatever. We got to take somebody. When there's a domestic violence call, we got to take somebody. Because if we leave somebody, someone ends up dead, we're liable. So they got to take somebody. And I said in my video, I have a suspicion that Anthony Smith's wife either knew about this law or one of the officers was like, hey, do you feel like you're in danger, Mrs. Anthony Smith? Do you feel like your kids are in danger? Huh? Do you feel like he's threatening your life? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this, Mrs. Anthony Smith? And she's like, oh, or maybe she knew. Maybe she has a relative or something in law enforcement. I don't know. But I said in the video, I have a feeling because of some of the stuff that's been said and some of the ways that things seem to have went down, and the daughter coming out immediately after, it's not like that. It's not like what the mainstream is saying. You guys got it twisted. My dad's like that. He would never do that. And it was verified that was the actual daughter, actual social media account. It wasn't a screenshot of a screenshot. It was her. And taking everything into consideration, I said, I think that maybe, whether it's just alcohol, just CTE, a mixture of the things, that maybe Anthony Smith has been needing help for a while. And maybe the wife was like, can you please go get help? And he's like, no, you don't understand. I got the heart of a lion. I could see this through. And he just wouldn't do it. And then there's different things. He's in the house. He's shooting himself. He shot himself in the arm. He's a danger to himself, whatever. So his wife and family had probably been dealing with this for a while. He's depressed. He didn't go where he wanted to in his career. He's unhappy. Whatever it is, they've been seeing and experiencing it. And he's probably not wanting to get the help. So whatever situation happened, like I said, a combination of things to where they're out a night on the town, things go sideways, he's in the car, they're yelling, whatever. And again, whether an officer urged her to do it or she knew, she thought, you know what? He's not going to go. He's never going to call. He's a danger to himself. It was brought up that maybe she was trying to block the car. Maybe he was trying to crash into a building. Maybe he was trying to take off and he was going to go end himself. Maybe he was going to go drive off a cliff, stand style. And she was like, no, she's getting in front of the car. He's like, I'm going to kill you. Get out of the way. I'm going to kill. Maybe he was saying by accident, please, wife, get out of the way. I'm going to kill you. And people just heard out of context, I'm going to kill you. And they didn't realize that those very words are the words that saved the life of Smith's wife. If he wouldn't have shouted, I'm gonna kill you, he might not have got her attention. She might have got hit and died. She might be alive today because he said he was gonna kill her. Context is everything. So she might have been getting in the way, blah, blah, and he's like, stop, I'm gonna kill you. Oh my gosh, you need to be safe. He throws her in the car. I'm keeping you safe. It's kind of like the Incredible Hulk. You know, he has the best of intentions, but people just see the aggression and they get it twisted. Either way, even just the act of saying, I'm going to kill you. Who hasn't said that? I'm going to kill you. Stop doing it. Don't touch my phone. I'm going to kill you. People talk to each other like that, especially if you've been married enough years. So anyway, I said in that video, I don't think we're getting the full story. I believe that she took advantage of a law, that she manipulated a law and used it in a way that would maybe force Smith to get the help that he needs. And as far as I'm aware, I'm the only person that said that. And it's because of a law that I knew of. I guess you could say from a past life. I just happen to know about these types of laws, and you may be feeling inquisitive, but I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I can't tell you why. I can't tell you what I'm referring to. And when I say in a past life, I don't mean to give you the wrong idea. I'm not talking about like whatchamacallit. I'm not talking about reincarnation. That doesn't align with my theology. I'm just talking about, that's just like a figure of speech. But when, if, and I can't disclose any more than that, because if I told you, then I would have to threaten to kill you with my car. I would have to threaten to run you over. So we'll just leave it at that. But you could look it up for yourself. That's very real law enforcement information. So I thought, okay, she cares about him. She's trying to manipulate the situation to take him in so that he could get the help he needs. She's going to force him to detox, maybe, if he's in there, if he's locked up. They're going to put him in the drunk tank. He's going to be safe. He's not going to be a threat to us out. They're going to put him in a padded room or something like that. And then, a few days went by and everybody just keeps thinking he's a monster. He's a monster. That's all there is to it. There's no context. And then this post went up the other day. And if you guys aren't watching right now, if you're just pocket listening, you're driving, whatever, I'll read it to you. There's a screenshot up right now. Don't worry yourself. It's from Mrs. Anthony Smith. And it says, "There's not a law I could say right now. I love Anthony with every ounce of my being. He is a good man, a great dad, and an incredible husband who loves us endlessly. Anyone that knows him can attest to that. They made a mental health struggle into something it wasn't. I am safe and always was safe. He would never hurt me ever." Heart emoji. And in case you're driving and not looking at the screen, it's an actual emoji. She did not write out heart emoji. That would be crazy. And then I would very heavily question her sanity. It is a emoji. "I called for help to protect him from himself." Now, if I didn't know any better, I would think that Anthony Smith's lady watched my video and said, that's my script. What has just played out here is exactly what I said I believe to had happened. Exactly. And the way she opens this post is she says, "There's not a law I could say right now." I wonder why. Maybe it's because she could be in trouble now. It would be considered obstruction of justice. Lying to police officer. I lost my ability to speak. I think I just had a mini stroke. Lying to a police officer. And maybe because, I don't know if you could tell, I'm perspiring very heavily in here right now. I'm in this room with no air conditioning and a beanie and a hoodie. I'm trying to lose a couple lbs. I got an audition for tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'm in a swimsuit commercial, so I'm trying to make my abs pop. So I'm sweating it out, sweating it to the oldies in here. You already know I'm listening to my Pandora in here, but I digress. Anyway, of course she can't say a lot right now because it may put her in big trouble legally. And the kids need to have a parent. She probably has taken advice from her lawyer or whoever saying, okay, I see your intentions. You're in a little bit of a pickle now because you lied. You used resources. People came out with vehicles. There was multiple officers involved. There was people in booking. You know how much we have to pay the thumbprint guy? The guy that takes photos? The courtroom people, the lady that does the fake typing, I don't even know how she basically types like with emoticons or something. I don't know how she does it. The public, I guess the public defender they throw in there for free. The judge, the persecutor, everybody involved. So the wife is in a little bit of a bind now. What is she going to do? She's saying, I can't say too much. It's an open thing. I may be liable now. She has to play it very safe now. Keep the cards very close to the chest because she was trying to protect Anthony. She's trying to put him on blast a little bit. I think that maybe she saw the Poirier situation and was like, It got put out to the public. He got in a thing with his wife. She's like, this could never happen again. Basically sounds like she gave him an ultimatum. Got him straightened up a little bit. He's getting help and whatnot. Maybe she thinks if this goes public, it's going to hold Anthony's chanclas to the fire. He's going to be embarrassed. He's going to be humiliated. He's going to have to deal with this. I'm out of options. Maybe she got inspiration from, maybe what happened to Poirier was a blessing in disguise so that this could happen for Anthony Smith. Maybe Poirier walked so that Anthony Smith, maybe Poirier hurled racial slurs and said derogatory things toward women and almost fought with the cop so that Anthony Smith could almost commit wife slaughter so that he could almost hit his wife with this vehicle. We don't know this. This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. These two might start a show together on Paramount Plus. This may be exactly what Smith with his wife had in mind. It's not what the MMA community had in mind, not these YouTubers. I think some of these people are so eager to virtue signal and try to point the finger when a man is down. The narratives that are being spun is absolutely embarrassing and ridiculous. The way that, dude, people just always so careful trying their absolute best to be on the right side of history and absolutely overcorrecting and just charging every man. It's like the people covering it. It's like, I would never tell my lady that I want to kill her, that I would hit her with my car. You know what? I would let her hit me with the car. I would lay down on the pavement and I would let her run me over. I wouldn't throw her in the car. I would hold the door open for her. I would never throw her in a car. If I was in the car with her, I would get out of the car, go around, open her door for her because I'm a gentleman, let her out of the car, explain to her exactly where I'm going to lay down, like logistically, like so she knows exactly. So guide her back to the car, close the door for her, go back and lay down on the agreed upon spot, and then let her run me over because I am a part of the patriarchy. I am a part of perpetuating toxic masculinity, and I support her taking me out. That's how some of these other MMA YouTubers are. They were more than happy to make a video when the news broke, but ever since there's been an update, nothing. Silence. They've absolutely moved on. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody is saying, oh, wait a minute, maybe we jumped the gun. Maybe it wasn't like we thought. Maybe Anthony Smith is struggling. You know what I heard? Man, everybody in the world was coming to Poirier's defense. Oh, man, it's happened to all of us. Maybe we haven't all been on camera, but it's happened to us. And people drink, people do bad things, people make mistakes. It's okay. You shouldn't do one thing. Your life is okay. Okay. Which is fine. But when it happened to Anthony Smith, people treated it entirely. Now, look, if they would have treated it a certain way, and then corrected themselves when the update came up, okay, that's a different story. But I can't find anybody. I skimmed through it. I skimmed through the pages again before making this video. And there's a couple handfuls of YouTubers out there that covered this story and villainized the dude. But since there was an update where the wife's saying, oh, no, my daughter was right, and now I'm saying the same thing. He was a danger to himself, and I can't say too much. I wonder why. I can't say too much, but he was never a danger to us. He loves us. He was never gonna hurt us. He was only a danger to himself, and we took care of it. That's why we made the call, and they turned it into something else. Okay, let me cover one little extra thing for you in case you still got that in the back of your beanie. Hold up, you didn't address this. If it was all a lie, how come those charges were filed? How come he's still having issues? Why the bail? Why couldn't they just drop everything? The issue is, even if you're a victim, even if you're someone on the receiving end of whatever criminal act or charge or whatever it is, and you say, you know what, forget it, I changed my mind, I was wrong, or you're bribed, or you're threatened, or whatever. If you, for whatever reason, say, you know what, never mind, I don't want to press charges, there's certain situations, like this one with the kind of charges that were initially thrown on, is a beautiful example where the DA could say, oh, I don't care. I don't care if you take everything back. We think that the magnitude of this was significant enough. We're pressing charges. We want to make an example out of this guy. We don't like the UFC. Maybe he's a Meryl Streep fan. Maybe he's just so eager to make an example of an MMA fighter that they're like, heck no, we're not letting this one go. Plus, if the DA knows, wait a minute, what do you mean you're trying to do? If they catch wind that the wife manipulated this just to get him the help that he needs because he wouldn't go of his own volition, then they'll come after the wife too. They don't care. So for anybody thinking that that's like the low final thing, that doesn't make any sense. What about the charges? What they could tack on, whatever. First of all, in order to get him out of there and get him booked and keep him safe and get him the kind of watch that he needed until he was bailed out at least, there's certain kind of things that they need to charge him with. They can't give him some pathetic little thing that he could have just walked out with that night or put like a $5,000 bail down or whatever like that. They got to give him something significant. And it's got to be real enough. Whether he was drunk or CTE or whatever, there had to be something that went on for them to be able to say, yeah, I think we could tack him with this. So I'm not saying the cops just lied and threw whatever they wanted at him. Obviously, he wasn't having a great night. So it probably wasn't that hard for them to put certain kind of charges on him. And whether one of the cops was like, hey, Mrs. Anthony Smith, if you feel, A, B, and C, you know what I'm saying? I think we could take him in. And, if it's not true, we could just take him off later. You could just say what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there. The problem is a lot of people making videos are acting like they were there. I'm saying all this to give full, complete context and still saying, I don't know. I'm not trying to say all this is like, I'm 100%, even though it kind of seems like I am 100% correct, the way it's panning out. But if that's the missing piece of the puzzle for you, if you're saying, how could that be? She could just undo everything and it's all good. Not if it's gone too far as the DA's confirmed and they want to see this through. And she can't say anything or now she's busted. So now her lawyer needs to figure out that whole part about, I can't say nothing. There's a whole lot I can't say right now. That's what they're trying to deal with at this moment. And the articles you're seeing, Anthony Smith can't go near her. He can't talk to her. Of course. She might, they're probably going to different payphone locations right now, calling each other, writing each other love letters and whatnot, sending each other Morse code and stuff through, sending little notes on the back of pigeons and stuff like that. But legally, because of the hoops and the ways that things happen and were manipulated, legally, now that has to be in place because that's how the law works. The whole reason I'm making this video is because I think somebody needs to cover this because it doesn't look like anyone else has any interest whatsoever in doing so. They moved on. They want to cover the new drama. And I think it's important to tell you, listen, I'm not saying Anthony Smith is a perfect individual. He may be struggling with alcoholism and CTE or a combination of the two. But I think it's important to make a video like this because everyone was just piling on the dude, villainizing him, making him sound like he was the next Al Bundy or something like that. And I'm saying, I think there was a lot more context to the situation with a loving wife who was trying to help him. And now there's some pretty good evidence to back that up. So I think it would be nice of the people that were coming out and saying all these things about him to go, maybe we got ahead of things a little bit. And there is this new bit of information to consider now. Don't know if they have any incentive to do that though. But here it is. I think the public should be aware of this. And hopefully enough people see this to show a little bit of grace and understanding in the situation. Hopefully he gets the help that he actually does need. And hopefully the wife isn't in any real type of trouble so that everything can come back together and they could be a cohesive, loving, harmonious unit.